Welcome to the first module on reinventing your working identity. As you can see on the screen, we're working with you in this module to begin the mindset of learning how to cut through the chaos of career invention or career reinvention. One of the reasons that I'm leading this module is I have reinvented myself at least 13 times. 7 of those have been professional sorts of reinvention. I've been a student of this since 2000 and have worked with hundreds of people in reinventing their working identity. You're probably here because you recognize that the old social contracts between an employer and an employee have shifted. And the first thing you may have noticed is that there is no longer an agreement between an employer and employee for the employer to take care of the employee. Gone are the days when someone can graduate from a good college, get a job, and stay with a company until retirement. So one of the reasons that we are sharing through SoulSalt the Reinvention coaching program is that the economy and the way we work has shifted drastically. In fact, borrowing from A Whole New Mind, Daniel Pink's book, we can see what the economy looks like if it were a political cartoon. You can see that we have evolved beyond the agrarian state that was truly the first business here in the United States, the family business of having a farm, which was a right and left brain sort of function. And in fact, we discovered our 9-month school system because the students who were in the schools in the winter were part of the family workers on the farm during the summer. And farmers needed to find something to do productively with their children during the months when farming was less of an issue. And preparing for the spring was something that didn't need as many hands and bodies. So the children were sent off to school. We evolved and progressed to the point where we needed fewer people on the farms and more people in factories constructing things like tractors and the machinery that we would use not only to further our agriculture and our agrarian economy, but also to bring in more of an urban setting where we really started to fluctuate into an era of abundance. We then mutated into becoming cubicle dwellers, knowledge workers, and a lot of our thinking started going even more left brain than it was in the manufacturing and the era of the factory worker. In fact, so much so that a lot of these jobs are no longer here in the United States. If it's a binary function of yes or no answers, such as computer coding or handling customer service calls for a cell phone company, those things can be done overseas and sometimes through robotics. The new economy we live in is a high-touch, high-concept economy, according to Daniel Pink, which means that there's a high need for empathy and a high need for other sorts of aptitudes. The new aptitudes today are play, empathy, beauty, design, and spirituality. And if somebody overseas can do your job better and faster than you, you need to reinvent quickly. If a computer can do your work better or faster than you, you need to reinvent quickly. But if your work is high-touch, high-concept, you need to be able to find a way to put sustainability behind it so that you can stay fluid, so you can do your work in a number of different ways, in a number of different venues, with a number of different sorts of clients. And that is one way to have a more sustainable, employable set of skills in today's economy. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a list of majors, those sorts of things that people might go to college for to study, and maybe even graduate in. And then to the right of that, you can see the jobs that will make a lot of sense, that an individual who studies long-term in a certain major or a particular area of arts and sciences could expect to land at some point in their career. This job on the right could be a part of their working identity, the portfolio that is now the norm, that you'll have many identities in the lifespan of one worker. But the reality is that the majors on the left are actually landing jobs on the right. And what that suggests to us is that even if you're not currently in a situation where you need to reinvent your working identity, you do need to adopt You need to adopt a mindset that puts you in tune with realizing that in a lifetime you'll probably have to reinvent yourself working anywhere from 3 to 7 times. And what we have found at SoulSalt is career transition is a nonlinear proposition. No longer can you put a target on the wall and say, I'm going to be a cartoonist when I grow up, and start throwing your darts at that bullseye until you get hired as a cartoonist. Now you need to find out where strengths and passion, your talent, and a market need converge, and that comes through experimenting. The big thing that you're learning if you started to read Working Identity by Ibarra is that we need to have a lot of experiments, that we can experiment and actually act ourselves into a new working identity versus thinking ourselves into a new working identity. This mindset is paramount. If there's only one thing you gain from us as you go through the reinvention process with us, it must be this, that you have many working identities inside of you. And in order to discover those, you have to wander with a map similar to this one or this one, because you are more like the gumball machine in this picture. You are an individual who has many possible working identities. There are many things you can do. You're not just a teacher. You're not just an attorney. You're not just a specialist in one arena. You need to be fluid and be able to do many things. We need to not be a needle in a haystack looking for that one right job. We need to be open to many things that we could do with our time, talent, and our strengths, and also our passion. So as you go through this process with us at SoulSalt, you'll notice that we'll be converging everything down to helping you understand what are your strengths, what are you passionate about, and how do those match up with a market need. At some point, we'll take you through a business plan of how your time and talent, these various working identities, could pan out into a Me Inc., an individual incorporated version of a business plan using your time, your talent, your precious assets, matching those with a market need. We're excited to get started with you. If you haven't been contacted by your coach yet, you will shortly, or you can reach out to your coach and find out what your home play is for this week. And welcome to SoulSalt's version of reinventing your working identity.